Leo, Leo, Leo. This is your astrology reading for the month of November for all Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus Leo signs. Again, I always like to remind people, if you're checking in with it under Venus, I don't do love readings. I just don't. I'm not very comfortable with them. I don't really like them. So, and Venus for me, it has nothing to do with love. Venus for me has everything to do with your sensitivity, whether it's good or bad, positive or negative, what you're sensitive to. So when I'm doing astrology, Venus is definitely coming in for me in the form of sensitivity, not love. So if you're looking for the love reading under Venus, sorry, not your girl. Letting you know that right off the bat. Now, with that being said, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, and Leo. We are going to be dealing with some subconscious karmic debts coming up. We're going to be dealing with some sacral chakra coming up, some Mars energy coming up. I consider sacral chakra and Mars energy kind of 2 in 1. And that has to do with our passion, our action, our aggression, but our feeling confident within ourself, which is that sacral chakra, how we feel about ourselves. But you're definitely going to be seeing some karmic lessons this month. Some coming into our own courageous core. That was not even my words. That was them. Coming into some of your own courageous core, apparently, within these karmic lessons. Was there something you were trying to say? Because that sounded odd. Maybe I just got tongue-tied. We are going to be dealing with some of our own personal responsibilities and our self-realization. Some transformational healing is going to be taking place, coming from that subconscious energy as it rises. And comes through some karmic debts as we clear out some of those energies. Is there anything else before I move forward? Some of them are saying it's going to do with self-sacrifice within memberships, and I don't know what that means necessarily just yet. Anything else? All right, so let me read off the things that are moving for the month so that I can give you that lowdown, and then we'll go through every house. Obviously, we're dealing with Mercury retrograde this month. Mercury went retrograde on Halloween Day on October 31st. This whole month is definitely a form of resurrection, a form of reincarnation or rebirth. You are going in between 2 new moons of Scorpio, and Scorpio is all about birth, death, rebirth, and fertility of being able to create that to be so. So there is some kind of rebirthing, reincarnation coming forward. I'm sorry. Just so I throw that out there right off the bat. Mercury is in retrograde, so we are definitely a little bit more inwardly thinking, period. We cannot help but to be a little more self-centered when Mercury is in retrograde. It's not that we're narcissistic. It's simply that our communication is only talking to us. So what do you expect? We get a little self-centered. Now, on the 1st, Venus moves into Sagittarius. On the 8th, Pallas moves into Sagittarius. And it's going to be moving closer to Jupiter and Ceres. But Ceres is quickly moving out of Sagittarius this month and going to be jumping into Capricorn. On the 4th, Ura moves into Libra. We have the new moon, not the new moon, we have the full moon taking place in Taurus. And that's going to have Uranus there and Vesta there. On the 16th / the 18th, 16th / the 17th, we are going to have Ceres move into Capricorn. And I say 16th / the 17th is because I did not go through every single moment to find the exact moment that it moved. I just know it's somewhere in the middle. There is where it shifts over. Mars moves into Scorpio with all this new moon energy on the 19th. On the 20th, Mercury goes direct, putting it back in shadow temporarily. On the 22nd, the Sun moves into Sagittarius. The 25th, Venus moves out of Capricorn. And if you caught that, I said on the 1st, Venus moved into Sag. On the 22nd, it moves into... No, the 25th, it moves into Capricorn. So it's not even... Venus is not even hanging out in Sagittarius for a whole month. It's like, I'm going to point out what I need to say. We're done. Thank you. And next. Basically, Venus is going to fly through there. Then you're going to have on the 26th, the new moon. And on the 27th, we have Neptune. Neptune is a key point here, even though most people aren't going to say he is. Neptune is about to go direct, like I just said. So this whole month, Neptune is going to be going, where did you miss the memo? Because this is what I need you to learn in order to create healthy magic as you move forward. So it's giving you some definite lessons about showing you where some things aren't working out so that you can help move yourself in proper ways forward. Neptune is all about where magic smacks you in the face with harsh reality, where illusion and delusion gets confused. Okay, so you're going to be acknowledging that all month as Neptune tries to make sure it got the memo through your head. But we'll figure out where that is as soon as we get into the houses and we come upon it. I know the 1st and the 2nd house, Leo, we don't have anything going on in our 1st and 2nd house. This is Leo and Virgo. There's nothing in these houses at the moment. There's no planets in these houses to help influence it in a positive or a negative way. That just means we're pretty much standing in our normal self-appearance, our normal core energy, our normal physical body, image, appearance, view of life, identification, self-worth, self-value, self-esteem. We're kind of in our normal power of this energy. However, don't underestimate that, because Leo, first off, you have 2 guardians of the pole in Leo that never leave. One is Kokub and the other one I can never remember how to pronounce. But their energies carry Venus, Saturn, and the Sun in it on a normal basis. So this is part of who and what creates us in that 1st and 2nd house anyway. We're incredibly sensitive, because Venus is part of that Kokub energy, part of that guardian of the pole energy. But we definitely are very much ready to question, shift, and change rules, laws, and boundaries, because that's the Saturn energy in us. And we're double illuminated by the sun, because the guardians of the pole carry another level of sun energy that's actually even larger than the sun. So this is why we're so dramatic. This is why people think we also have such an ego. I mean, it's not that we do. It's just that we're that's why we're the lion. We roar. Our energy comes in so powerful in this, because we have double sun, we have Venus, and rules, laws, and boundaries. We are ready to with our emotions and cut like a knife. And this speaks to our very image of who and what we are, our appearance of who and what we are, our self-worth, our self-value, our self-esteem when we are in our power. There's nothing here coming for us or against us outside of these energies are already part of us naturally. Now, in our 3rd house, this is where we start to see things a little bit differently. And where that 3rd house is influencing if our natural energy is shining properly. Because the 3rd house is the communication house. It is dealing with our siblings and our neighbors. And for Spirit's saying, for some of you, it's definitely within your neighbors. This is your communication, the short journeys of communication, like your text messages, your emails, your gossip, phone calls. But it's also intellect and details. It is also delivery systems and trivia. So this is communication on all of its levels. Mercury is in retrograde. Now, it's not in Mercury is not in retrograde in our 3rd house, but Mercury does rule the 3rd house. So our communication is in retrograde. It's just in retrograde in 2 areas. Our communication is in retrograde in our 3rd and our fourth house, because our fourth house is where Mercury is actually in retrograde in Scorpio. But with it being in retrograde naturally, it's going to influence that third house. That is Libra. This is where we want to create justice in our communication. This is where we want to create harmony and balance in our communication. But Libra has Haumea here, has Makemake here, and Ura here. So this is how we learn from our very collective consciousness where we stand in our own self-awareness, our own self-worth, self-value, self-esteem, our personality, our appearance, our view of life, our core. This is where we learn, are we communicating healthy with ourselves? Because Mercury's in retrograde. And with the collective consciousness, what about ourselves are we not seeing that's being brought to our attention because Mercury's in retrograde? Where are we on the lotus flower's growth? Are we communicating with ourselves in truth? Are we still in the muddy, murky swamp? And we won't admit our denials to ourselves. Are we starting to cut through where you're at the frothy middle land and you can see above and below, but you're not 100% one or the other? Or are you stretching into your true soulfulness and stretching towards the light? This is asking us, where have we not committed our conversation to ourself, our commitment to ourself, our self-worth, our self-value, our self-esteem, and communication itself by starting with the depths of how we truly, honestly feel and view things. This communication is coming in all month because, like I said, Ura is moving in on the 4th, and that is sacrificing commitment to communication. But communication's in retrograde until the 20th. So this is asking you, where are you getting true with your inner communication, your inner self-love? Now, Mercury is still in communication in the 4th house. Mercury is in retrograde, for real, in the 4th house. And this is our inner emotional security. This is our karmic lessons, our roots. This is the child that created the adult you've become. This is the roots of who and what you are, the foundation that created you to be what you are. And within the foundation of that creation of what you are, where is that inner emotional security? Where is it strengthened, or where is it shaky? This is where the real self is. This is where the depths of the real self is found. And if you're connecting to that depth of your real self, you're connecting to either where the inner emotional security is or where it isn't. Mercury is in retrograde here, speaking to us directly of that home. Because inner emotional security starts at home. The soulfulness of yourself, the depths and truth of yourself. Getting back to your self-worth, self-value, self-esteem, your self-love, your appearance, your view of life, your identification and your personality. Where are you being true to you and sacrificing what needs to happen to be true to you? Like I said, Mercury in retrograde is going to be only speaking to you until what? The 20th. About this energy and what it needs to say. But you also have the sun here, which is illuminating you within the home, the material home, and the people that are close to the home. You know, your family, your siblings. This is also illuminating you within the home by honestly getting right with that communication and depth to yourself so that you can actually communicate outwardly. Just remember, Mercury in retrograde tends to bring a little self-centeredness, and we don't want to see it as narcissisticness. We want to see it as self-centeredness enough for self-love. So if we're getting it for self-love, then it helps us communicate outwardly well. But we can't help but wonder, sometimes with Mercury in retrograde, we tend to word vomit. So make sure you're paying attention to the details of what it is you are communicating so it doesn't work against you, especially within the home. Yes, baby, my kitty. Okay, and You're going to be acknowledging that right up until the 22nd of the month when the sun moves out. On the 19th is when Mars moves in. So you may be taking some actions and starting to come into a new level of self-worth, self-value, self-esteem, inner emotional security, touching base with your inner child. But you may not be noticing it quite as much until the second half of the month. You might be communicating with yourself about what you need to communicate and how to make these changes as you approach the second half of the month, so the inner child can bring out the enjoyment of life. But again, this is that fourth house. The home automatically is you first off, before it is the materialistic home. And this is where our new moon is taking place at the end of the month, between two new moons. So this is definitely a resurrection of inner emotional security, inner depths of truth, inner soulfulness, inner real self, and finding out who and what that really is and what that means to you. That also will start to turn the time on those karmic lessons into new manifestation, because you're getting right with self, as long as you're not in denial of self. Now, that fifth house, because like I said, you're going to be feeling that from one new moon to the next. Pretty plain and simple. And you're definitely going to feel it with Mars coming in near the end of the month as the sun moves out. Now, as we get into the fifth house, fifth house is where we're talking to our inner child, our inner creativity, our creative expression. It is our pursuit of pleasure. It is where we find that we enjoy ourselves and our life, and what about that makes us enjoy life. It's also where love comes in, new relationships of, that loving standard. It's where the lovers come into place. It's your personal interests that bring you together, your hobbies, things that make you enjoy life and want to take part in life. And in this area, you have Jupiter. Jupiter is bringing abundance to us all year. It has been about what is helping us connect with our pursuit of pleasure, our enjoyment of ourself and our life, which brings us back to our inner emotional security, self-worth, self-value, and self-esteem. But that inner child within is trying to been screaming for us this whole year, with Ceres right next to it, going, where are you nurturing the fun? Where are you nurturing your enjoyment? Where are you nurturing your pursuit of pleasure? Versus where have you been neglecting it? Where have you been saying, that'll wait because I have to do this, and that'll wait because I have to do this, and that'll wait because I have to do this. And before you know, you're over here doing this, and you're not having fun. You're not in the pursuit of pleasure. You're not enjoying life. And this is saying, come back and balance this fairly. Okay? And Jupiter is bringing higher knowledge and abundance to this all year long. Ceres has just crossed over Jupiter in this energy and has been definitely bringing into that energy. Where have you been nurturing it? Where have you been neglecting it? And how can I smack you in the face and make you know if you're neglecting it, so that you have to give yourself some love, some fun, some enjoyment, because without that, you're out of balance and you can't create shit in the first place. All right. But we're also seeing Venus and Palaces moving in. I said Venus ain't sticking here long. Venus is going to come right through and go, nurtured, neglected, nurtured, neglected, loved that, hated that, loved that, hated that. This is all in the pursuit of pleasure. I love to do this. Why aren't we doing this? I hate to do that. Why are we still doing that? And it's definitely going to be going, why can't I do this when this is what I want to do? But no, I'm stuck doing this. And it's definitely going to be in your head, pointing this out. But you have Palace here, strategically thinking how to balance it, so that you can find that enjoyment and bring it back into your life. This is a positive thing, but Venus is coming through, catching up with Ceres and coming right in and passing it as it goes into Capricorn. Very much. Yes, no, like it, hate it, like it, hate it, love it, hate it. No. It's definitely going to be pointing out where is the fun and where is the fun not. And how is that keeping you from your creative expression, your true balance, your true inner emotional security, and keeping you from getting right with your self-worth, self-value, self-esteem, and your very core of who and what you want to be? But another part of this is the sixth house. The sixth house is going to be pointing out for you very powerfully over the next 2 months your rules, your walls, your boundaries. Where you need to shift your everyday daily tasks, your mundane tasks, what you think isn't important, what you think is just normal. I get up, I brush my teeth, I take a shower, I go have breakfast, I go to work, I deal with these people, I do this, I have dinner, da-da-da. The people, places, and things in those mundane tasks, are they healthy for you? Because they're energy you're consuming. And that energy you consume helps to manifest what you bring to you. Because that also helps support what you believe about your inner emotional security and what you can and cannot enjoy. Where are you stacked too full? Okay. Saturn and Pluto are here. Rules, walls, and boundaries within these relationships. Not relationships, within these very daily tasks. Where do you need to shift these daily tasks so they support you being you? Where they support you enjoying your life and being able to have that creative expression that you want to have to support you. Your inner emotional security, your self-worth, self-value, self-esteem, your self-expression. Where are you touching base with those daily mundane tasks, those daily routines that support that healthiness, that enjoyment? And where are you neglecting it? Because Ceres is moving into this energy, saying, these are the rules, the walls, the boundaries that need to be shifted because this is keeping me from enjoying life. This is keeping me from being able to do this because I'm over here doing this shit that I really don't care about when I should be over here. And is going to be paying attention to what it's the priorities for you about making these energies shift and change so that your sensitivities are being able to shift into inner emotional security and help you illuminate yourself. You're going to be noticing this over the next 2 months. Okay? Now, as you get into that 7th house, we don't have anything going on here, so that's a good thing. This is Aquarius. You don't have anything going on in Aquarius within the relationship zone. You're pretty much feeling like you normally do within the relationship zone. However, what you do have going on is Pisces energy and the 8th house. I know. Neptune wants love. The 8th house is Pisces. Like I said, Neptune is going retrograde. Neptune is going direct all month long. Neptune is going to be going... Well, within these relationships, what are the joint resources, the joint finances, the joint efforts? Are they joint? Are they just? Are they even? Are they fair? And are they balanced? Neptune's asking you to really, truly evaluate that. You can create anything you want to, including bullshit. In these relationships, are you fair? Are you just? Are you balanced? Are you? And are the relationships fair, just, or balanced? Are you doing more than you should be? Are you doing more and doing it while others aren't? This is asking you how you feel about yourself within these relationships. Are you taking on so much that you're also feeling like you're pulling yourself down? What are the rules, walls, boundaries within the relationships? Are they set right? Because Neptune is magic. Neptune speaks to you about what you can create, positive and negative. Neptune is where fantasy smacks you in the face with harsh reality. It is illusion versus delusion. It has Lilith right on top of it, helping you to truthfully stand in that sacral chakra power and go, I can do this, and I don't have to do this. Both. So, in the relationship zone, this is about acknowledging where the balance is so that you can create healthy transformation within the relationships and acknowledging it. Because like I said, if you're not acknowledging it, it will continue to go in the same spiral as it always has been. Neptune's in retrograde for a reason, and at the end of the month, it's going to go direct. It expects you to acknowledge what you were meant to learn at this time so that you can move forward in positive ways. Now, in your 9th house, you have Chiron. This is asking you to get right with your ethics, your morals, your wisdom, your spiritual urges, and your higher mind, your vision, and sacred energy. Sacred energy, but what I meant was your psychic energy. Chiron is asking you, what about your ethics, your morals, your religion, your philosophy, your higher self, your higher mind, your visions, your psychic energies need healing, need to be believed in, need to be corrected, need to identify with the intuition and trusting and depth of it. Chiron is saying, where don't you? So we can start a new cycle, bringing it from a true soulful nature forward. But at the end of Aries, we also have Eris. And Eris is trouble, toil, strife, injustice. So where have you been connecting with your ethics, your morals, your spiritual beliefs, your philosophy that's been going against your higher mind and holding on to resentments that kept you from believing in yourself? That's what this energy really is about. Now, as you come into the 10th house, this is where your full moon takes place. The full moon takes place in Taurus, where Uranus is in retrograde. The 10th house is speaking about your honor and your reputation. It is speaking to you about your prestige, your professional career, your social foundations, but your financial success, your career, your outer community. It is the duty and authority and responsibilities that you carry in your everyday life that bring that honor and reputation to you. Full moon is taking place here, speaking directly to your self-worth, self-value, your self-esteem, by acknowledging your own independence, individuality, uniqueness, freedom. But with honor and reputation, financial success, social foundations here, the problem is Uranus is in retrograde, so it's questioning its independence. It's questioning its ability to stand in its own authority of independence, individuality, uniqueness, freedom, self-worth, self-value, self-esteem, to take on the honor and the prestige and the reputation that you deserve. You're questioning if you're able to make these breakthrough changes. And the reason you're questioning is because Uranus is moving this way in retrograde. Eris is moving forward. Eris is Medusa, and they're coming closer. Eris is trouble, toil, strife, injustice. Where are you holding on to the resentments in that outer community, in the professional world, in the duty, responsibility, authority in your life? Where are you holding on to the resentment that's causing the reputation to be not exactly what you want? That's keeping you from the social foundations that you're trying to create? Where is that honor and prestige actually working egotistically against you? Independence, individuality, uniqueness, freedom, self-worth, self-value, self-esteem. But don't do it by holding on to resentment, because that will actually backlash at you. This is a full moon. So this is about realizing what you need to release, surrender, and let go of to find true self-worth, self-value, self-esteem in the outer community, to illuminate yourself by being the independent individual that you are. The 11th house, and like I said, that full moon takes place on the 12th. But trust me, it's going to be bringing energy to that new moon in Scorpio and that resurrection of self, of how you communicate. No, of how you communicate with your inner emotional security. Now, I only have less than a minute left, so I'm going to come back in for part 2 on 11th and 12th house. So please just double check the 11th and 12th house. Much love to all. Bye, guys.